Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and the video that a lot of you have been asking for, the bulkhead repair. Yep, we're finally going to start this job. Jim's got all the parts for his truck now, so he's going to be needing this quite soon. We've got a lot to do on this. It's going to need a lot of work. Let's go through this. It's going to need top corners, both of them, and I've just seen some more rust here that I hadn't seen before. I've not actually been that close to it. Yeah, there might be some more rust in there, so we may be letting pieces in. Hopefully that's just surface rust under the paint, because this has been painted a couple of times, but it might be filler. We'll find out in a bit whether this is filler. Yeah, top corners, half foot wells because the tops are okay. Sides, outer panel, and the feet that bolt to the bulkhead. So a lot of welding, a lot of cutting. But one of the things we've got to do for this is make a jig, and I haven't done that yet. Got to make a frame to actually bolt it to, because they can twist all sorts of ways when you start cutting these panels out. So I want this bolted into a jig, as though it was bolted to the chassis, and then when we weld everything back in, we know this is going to go straight back onto a chassis. But after it's been welded as well, it's going to go for shot blasting, and then it's going to go for galvanizing, so it shouldn't need doing again. And people have said it's probably cheaper to go and get another bulkhead. Time wise, probably is, but you don't get the video out of it then, do you? Well, you just get to see us going and buying another bulkhead. So I think the first thing, let's have a look at the box of parts that's behind me. So what's in the box of parts? Well, hopefully all the bits to do this bloody bulkhead. Right. These have all come from YR. Actually, I don't think all of them have come from YRM, but most of them have. I don't think these corners did. I think these came from somewhere else. I can't remember because I didn't order them. So, 2 replacement top corners, which go in there. So that's a left and a right. It's a very, it's a very basic piece. It just basically gives you the corners to weld in. We're going to have to do more work than that. And guess who's turned up? Hello, Teddy. He's not needy, guys. He's just always here. Go away. Oh. 2 replacement feet. Now the feet are what bolt to the to the chassis. So bolt the bulkhead to the chassis. They are. Oh yeah, they're rotted through here. So 2 of those. They aren't too bad to do normally. But to do them, you need, that bag was open at the top, I ripped it at the bottom. That is your whole outer corner, this whole piece here. When you're putting the feet in, you need to cut into this to get inside. It'll all come clear as we do the job. But we don't need to put all that on, because this is actually not a bad pillar, it's just gone at the bottom. Ball. Never work with children and animals, guys. So that, they have sent me a left and a right, yeah. Is that outer piece there. And it's, we'll have to look whether it's worth putting that whole piece on. Probably not. Depends how much more rust I've just found on the back side of this. I hadn't seen that bit either. Stop looking and you won't find any more rot to weld. Those are the corners of the box here. So while you've got all this apart, you can actually weld them in. or trim them off. Literally these are repair panels, so if you're doing one of these, don't think you need to weld in all of it. If you only need a piece of it, cut that piece out, weld that piece in. You're much better off keeping the original steel if you can, rather than putting the whole panel in. These are patch panels. It's where a lot of people go wrong with these. This is a patch panel. Which side is that? That's going to be this side actually. And that's, you know, can be cut to fit down. That must be the other side. They're really short. Gonna have to have a look at them, see if they're the right ones. Oh yeah, they're going to be, hopefully they're going to be big enough. That's going to be that one, isn't it? Yes, that's this side, because it's the driver's side one, it's bigger. Right, first job on that, strip everything off it, because it's still got all the clips, all the soundproofing, all the bits of wiper motor and everything on it, so we've got to get it apart first. Hope these are right. So start stripping this. Yeah, we'll get them out when we take it apart. There's going to be a lot of them inside there. I think I might have to lie this down. Yeah, we'll lie it down. Be easier. We've got to get these hinges off. They're going to be grown on. There's no chance they're going to unbolt. They never do. The angle grinder might be my friend. Well, there's no chance I'm going to get this undone with this Phillips screwdriver, I know that. No. Even though it is actually a good fit, if I'm going to put mole grips on it. I've got a square drive one that you can put a spanner on, but they filmed it to paint it, they didn't clean the rust out from under it though. Right, I've found a bigger screwdriver. What are the odds? None, because that's going to move. Need a block of wood. Well, that's good, it's snapped. That's what we want. Just for them to break off would be perfect. And that. Well, that's a first. They never come off normally. That clip broke. Oh no, the screw actually snapped off inside. That's fine. These are junk anyway. Definitely junk. When I cut the foot off this, it's going to be full of those clips. What are the odds of this one coming off? Nope, that's just rounded off. Oh, 1 out of 2. Yeah, the clip's just spinning. I've got a bit more of this to do. I've got the other side, that's going to have to be ground off. So if you've got this far into your bulkhead, you already know how to undo these things. So I'm going to get this prepped, and then the next bit we're going to build a frame to put it on, and then we're going to start cutting. I think we'll do one side at a time. I think it's going to be easier so that things don't start getting out of shape. So I'll carry on with this, then on to framework. That's much better. All the junk's off it now. It's a problem when you've got a salvaged part. There's, you know, all the things that they've just left on and cut off and just random pieces. Where if you were taking your own apart, you would have taken all the bits off and reused them. But I've just taken the grinder to this and chopped all the bits off. Playing ball with the dog, by the way. There we go. I think it looks much better now. It's better and worse than I thought it was going to be in places. So the rust that's here is just surface rust. I've tapped it with the hammer, that's all good. There's some bits on the sides that are more rusty than I thought, but they're actually in with the panels, so that's good. So they're in the box sections up the side. I'll show you as we're actually cutting it up, but excuse me. Now I've got to get I'll have to go and get the centre to centre measurements for the bolt holes to make the frame to put this on, because even though I can just use this, I want to make sure it's right on a chassis, because you don't know, this might have been dropped and it might be just tweaked. So I just want to double check that on a chassis, and there's one sitting up at the farm. I can get the centre to centre measurement off. Then I'll double check it on this, drill it, make a frame, and I'm going to make a single piece frame with feet so that it'll actually just stand, so I can work on it without it wanting to fall over. So yeah, I'm going to go do some measuring, get some metal. Next job, make a frame. Me and Ted have been out and fetched some metal just before it chucked it down on us, and I've also double checked these measurements and they seem to be correct. So I'm going to make a centre to centre marking on this, drill it, bolt this to this bar. Then I've got a couple of feet to weld on, and this should stand up for us to work on, at least while we do the top and trim the sides, and it'll make it much easier than it being lying down. And I've just been quickly redecorating the workshop, put up some new banners. You can tell they're new, they're still curled up at the edges, but there you go. Midwell's 4x4 and all 4 Overland are collaborating on truck builds and overlanding trips and filming, so we should have a lot more content coming your way, guys, because we've now got more access to content. So centre line for that one, done the same on the other end. Now just drill a hole. This is the easy bit, guys, you know, making the frame. The rest of it is a little bit more tricky. Have you seen how much rust we've got to play with? Yes, rust is not a crime, but it is an MOT failure. Wow, those boxes are pretty rotten, but fairly simple to repair, really. And I wish people wouldn't cobble them up like this one. They've just welded random plates, and it's so much easier to actually fix them properly. I've drilled the first hole in the bar, and I've just dropped it on using some threaded bar because I've got no bolts long enough. Thought these were going to do it, but they're too short. So I'm going to have to just do it with threaded bar, and I can sit and watch this for hours. That's the highlight of my day so far, that is. Come on. And you know what? You're as daft as I am because you're watching it too. Hey. Right, I'll just zip that off with the disc cutter and bolt that on. Then I'm going to flip this over and drill it from the other side, and then I know the hole's in exactly the right place, and then we can weld the feet on. And hopefully this will stand up. Right, a couple of spanners, tighten that up, and that side's on. I'll flip this over and do the other side. Bottom section's bolted on. Just give you a walk around this so you can see that beam bolted in there. Now I'm just going to weld the feet on either end, and then this will be self-supporting, I hope. I'm going to weld that side first because, hang on, I've got a level on that side, so that's going to be vertical. Oh, focus. Wants to focus on the box. There you go. So I'm going to tack that on first, and then I'll do the other side. That's the frame made. Now you can see how much easier that's going to be to work on. Now it's on a frame. It's self-supporting now. Don't worry about the floors not level. But if you put that down, that bit of frame is. So we don't have a level floor in here. But that's going to be really easy to work on now, because I can now cut out the corners, cut out the footwells, and weld everything back in. And it's not just going to keep wanting to fall over. You're not going to have to maul it around. It's just going to stand there while you work on it. And now I've got a frame that I can use in the future for if I need to do any more. So that's part one of that done. Right, now let's get these corners cut out, because I think that's where I'm going to start, is the corners, and work down. I've decided to start on this side, passenger side. No reason, except this is probably the worst side. So I'm just looking at what I'm going to replace and what I'm not. This outer pillar here has got a lovely dent in it here. So I think I'm going to end up replacing all of that, because I've got to replace the side of the box. So I've got to find the spot welds in here and unspot weld it so that I can get this way. I'm not worried like below there, because I'm just going to cut that off with the disc cutter, and then clean up the other side ready for the new footwell to go in. But I just need to undo those ones, because obviously this bit's staying. I don't want to disturb that piece too much. Yeah, it's welded on the back, so I need to cut the welds off there and there, because there's like two little tack welds. They're like just over 1/4 of an inch there and there. Take them off, just zip cut it. Don't don't need to worry about undoing the spot welds down here because that panel's coming out, but I do need to find these spot welds, and they're fairly obvious, and I've got a spot weld drill. I'll just drill them out. Then there's a spot weld just there, a little bit of seam weld here, and then the spot welds on the other side. I'm going to cut into this, open it up, and I can take this piece off, hopefully leaving the foot in place. I don't know, it's a long time since I've done one. I can't actually remember how they're welded on the bottom, whether they're just welded into that like that. I honestly can't remember. So I need to get this panel off so I can see what's inside. I actually think that they're just welded together from memory, that those two bits just join up. So we'll find out in a minute. The one thing I have noted, that this panel is actually really close to the original in bend and shape and size and everything. It's a little bit shorter here. That's not a problem because there's metal behind it. But this piece is way too long. There's a weld just here, and that should sit there. And as you can see, the holes don't line up, so it's actually too long, so I'll have to shorten that one when it goes in. Oh yeah, it's way too long. Oh, I know why they've done it, because it's a cover panel, isn't it? They just so that you can weld, if you're not doing this piece, you can weld it there, but we'll just need to zip that piece off and cut this out to fit. Like, this is all good here. There's a few dents in it, but it's not rotten, so that piece can come off, and then we'll just let it in around here. And I think I'm probably going to have to take that off. Hope that's in shot for you guys, because I don't think it is. No, it wasn't. Should be now. Sorry about that. I was concentrating on what I was doing. Yeah, this piece here is too long, like I was just saying, and I'm going to cut that off there. I'm going to cut that piece off there, but I'm going to have to remove this bit where the vent panel goes and just spot weld that back on. And probably let a little piece of metal into there as well, because this is a bit short on the top. But yeah, straightforward enough. It's not rocket science, it's welding. So already looks better. Awesome. Right, out with the grinder. So I'm going to start by taking the vent panel hinge. Yeah, vent panel hinge off. I can measure the distance on the other side. They should be identical, so for putting it back on, but there's 3 spot welds in that, and I think this spot weld drill is blunt, so that drill is very blunt. I'll go and find one that's actually sharp. You can actually just do this with an ordinary drill as well, because you can drill straight through, because they're all just going to be migged back on anyway. I use the word sharper loosely, because that ain't sharp. Should come off at that. we can clean that up and just weld it back on. Right, it's no going back now. Filler. Yeah, some of the inner support's gone on this as well. That's not a shock. There'll be a lot of wire wheeling in there. There's a spot holding that together. Let's take it all off. Now we are going to need these. You can buy new ones of these, but we can clean that and put those back. We can just tack weld them back on. Once I've separated them from there. Rust. Right, I'll do a bit more cutting. I'll bring you back in a bit once I've exposed a bit more of this. So I've cut that piece off, which was, hang on, let's reassemble it. It was like that. Now that is that piece. So I've just cut straight through it and taken it out, because there's no point trying to separate the outer bits, because I'm going to replace it now. So that piece inside there is that piece. So I got that. I've also cut that piece out at the back, because this piece comes with it, so I can just weld it and just get a grinder on it and grind that back smooth again, so the door seal will go in. The this piece here that you can see my fingers through, I'm going to have to replace. I'm going to have to make it, because it should come round. What I'll have to do is make it in two pieces. I'll have to cut a strip, cut this one off, weld a new strip off, strip on, and then put an outer piece on. So this bit here has somewhere to attach. Because this is too long, I can't push it in all the way, but if it was, it would go to there. So I've got to replace that piece, and like I said, the piece I've cut out there is already in this, so when that goes together, once this one's been shortened, everything will line up. And I've just welded back the crush tubes so I don't lose them. This bit was a bit rotten here, so I've filled it full of weld, ground it off smooth on the back so it just looks like panel, but it was just a case of just tacking and just filling that in. It started out as a pinhole and it grew, so it's fine now. Once this goes for shot blasting, acid dipping and galving, that will be more than fine. It's what's it? I've just realised, got got no holes for the crush tubes. So good job, put them back in. So that can go on, and then I'll have to just drill from the back and then weld them and grind them flat again, so that the crush tubes are actually joined. You know what, that isn't going to be too bad. Once that's cut off, drops in there, there's going to be a lot of, oh, I've got to make a piece up there as well, be a little strip, tacked in, ground, and then put back together. And this one, could scribe line down that, which isn't far off there. Line down there and just keep whittling it back till that fits in. So my next bit, take this piece off here. I don't know if that's in shot, guys, it probably isn't. Yes, it is. So this piece here, cut this bit off next, and then we'll start making the panels up. This one, before I carry on, is a hell of a lot worse than that side. So I've actually started on the worst side, so it's a bonus for me. I'm not too worried about this little interior support piece being missing, because that should wrap up there and go over those, but it's just not going to when it goes back together, because it's not going to be there. So don't worry about it, we can join it there. We'll be joining it there, and I'll probably put a single spot weld in there just to hold that tight all back together. But as long as these crush tubes are in, we're good, because that's what mounts your windscreen, guys. So you want this bit to be good and strong, because your windscreen is attached to that. And really that one wasn't. There's another pinhole there I'm going to have to deal with. It'll be fine. Quick update for you guys. Richards are coming to pick this chassis up tomorrow. They said it's going to be away for probably a week or so, couple of weeks, down to the Galvias. But outside, let's go this way, another one of these. Jim's been out and bought another X5. They are an X5, aren't they? I don't know my BMWs, but this one is going to have work to test the engine, because apparently it's got turbo issues. So I've just had a play with the turbo and it is absolutely terrible. The car runs, it drives, but it's drinking oil. But it's only got 100 and something odd thousand miles on it. So the engine's been kept nice and warm. It's under there. It's partially stripped because they're going to put the turbo off the other engine on and build this back up, and then get it running, get it up to temperature, drive it, make sure this engine's good. Well, we seem to think the engine's good. There's no metal in the filters, so I will keep you posted on that one when it's ready to come out. So there you go, guys. There's the update video on what's going on with the M57 build. Chassis going back. There's a new car and engine arrived. The other engine is still, hang on, let me turn this camera around for you. The other engine is still down there, so they're going to rob the turbo off that one and put it on the new one. So I'm going back to the workshop now to carry on with the bulkhead. No, actually I'm not. I'm going to go and get some cutting discs. That's my first job, cutting discs, and then back to the workshop. Now I've come back with some cutting discs, I can start cutting this side off. So I'm going to put a scribe line across there. I'm going to cut through that, cut up there, cut this bottom leg off. I've welded an extra support in the middle when we've got this leg taken off, so this will actually stand up. And then I'm going to unspot weld all the rest of this. We're going to clear all this away and have a proper look at what we're dealing with. Right now, grinder. 2 spanners. So that's a big chunk of the cutting done. So I was right, that piece is spot welded inside there, so we can actually weld that in, ready to go. So we'll just make the foot up, done. We'll join those 2 pieces together. I have actually got a spot welder, but my brother's got it at the moment, so really could do with it for putting these seams back in, so I might have to go and grab my spot welder off my brother. Oh God, you wouldn't believe how heavy this is, how much crappy repair's been done. There's so much, you know, plate been added to it. So it's like plate on top of plate. And I mean, they were the factory ones are reinforced anyway, so it's already 2 layers thick from the factory, and this one's now 3. Well, 2.5. So that's strengthen the scrap pile. So get the drill out now, take this corner off, take this piece off, take this off, clean that edge up. We're ready to put bits back on. That's literally taken me, if I wasn't filming, I reckon that would take me a couple of hours, and probably the same to put it back on. So doing it like this is a lot easier than doing it in the vehicle. I just wouldn't do it in the vehicle anymore. I just wouldn't even entertain it. So yeah, I've got some interesting bits to weld there because they're reinforced on that side. So I'll have to work out how I'm going to put that back in, whether I put it in, whether I unspot weld that. I'll have a think about that. I might just cut the inner piece off so that's only single skinned and then double it back up when I put the new piece in. So right, drill, take this off. I'll undrill this because I don't want to damage the rest of it. I think it's the longest bit is doing the spot welds. Right, get that off. Right, I've just rolled this over onto its back so that I can just show you. Obviously this is the box we've just cut out. I've just run the angle grinder down this to expose the spot welds because there's body seaming mastic on here, so you can't see it. So I cleaned it up with the grinder, and just show you how fewer spot welds there are. There are 2 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 spot welds to get this entire seam off. So Have to work these a bit to get them off. Well, that one anyway. Now there's 1.5 there. So they've put 2 side by side, but that's how fewer welds there are holding this on. So zip that centre bit out and you can get to this. I mean, if you want to take your time, you can actually go around under the spot weld, set the whole lot off if you want that way, but there is not a lot holding it. I think I'm going to have to drill that one. Where's my drill gun? Yeah, they put 2 side by side there. We are going to have to hammer and dolly this straight after we've very forcefully removed these. I think I'm starting. There may be another one in there, you know. Where's hammer and chisel? Let's have a look. You can't really hit it because it's now springy. So. Break that one. And just keep rolling this round to the other. I drilled those ones from the other side. So yeah, there you go. I just cut that off flush, hammer and dolly that. That's actually ready for the panel to go in. This back edge, I've also just taken the extra piece of metal off that was behind there while it was lying the other way. So yeah, there's not a lot to these guys. There really isn't. Do not be afraid to pull one apart. I've been trying to get this bit off, and it's been a bit troublesome because I can't find all the welds. So what I'm going to do is just put the disc cutter down it and open it up and then just peel these sides back off. And as I start peeling it, I'll find the spot welds. But I just can't find them all. Some of them are really flush and you can't, you know, there's 2 more. They've just come to light. So yeah, they've used a lot of spot welds on this. And there's 2 doubled up there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. So I've missed quite a few on that. So yeah, I'm going to cut it to pieces. I won't record that, it's just me doing more cutting, but I'll show you when I've got it apart, and we'll get this all dressed up, ready for the new panels. Well, I've been mulling this over, how to do it, so I think what I'm going to do is not put that piece in upside down. Start by putting this panel in first. Now, there was a tab on this that was vertical, and as you can see I've bent it over because it was in my way. Because what I want to do is put a tack weld there to join the seam up, and then I can push everything together once this is attached in there. So that'll be my first piece. So that'll be the first part of the footwell in. Then that'll be followed by the outer part of the outer slash inner part of the footwell. So that's going to go something like that. And then we'll go for the pillar. But I need the inner piece in to attach this pillar to, so I'm going to start with that bit. Just going to I'm going to clean that off, and I'm going to just use these as plug welds for now, and back weld this. Now, I've literally put the world's tiniest tack just there to hold that, and then a welding clamp just here. And you see now, that's just held in by virtually nothing. Now, what I want to show you is, look how far that's twisted already, because that should be back here. Because if you look at that down the other side where that foot is, let me go over there because I can't zoom in. So that foot is bolted to the frame, and that one is, well, that's a good, what, 35 mil twisted already. And that's what happens when you start taking these things apart. They just want to twist. That's why when I start putting this back together, we'll get that leg in, get it bolted into the frame, and it'll all pull itself back square. Yeah, it just shows you, doesn't it, how much that wants to twist already. But I'm going to put some, I'm not going to fully weld this, I'm just going to tack it for now. Okay, right, I'm getting somewhere with this. We've got that, I've sort of tacked that on. It's not fully welded yet, but it's getting there. But I am going to weld the foot into, hang on, let me move my clamp because it keeps slipping. I'm going to weld the foot in, so I'm going to put a seam weld across the top on the inside. Can you see that? Yeah, just about on the inside. Then I've drilled a couple of holes on the bottom so I can plug weld it, and I'm going to plug weld it there as well. Might have been easier if I had my spot welder, but I might not even get my spot welder in there. It's a little bit awkward, but that'll hold that in place and it'll all be one part then. So yeah, I'll tack that together, well, spot weld it together and get that piece in. That's all one piece. Don't think there'll be a problem with that coming out. I could actually put a little weld in there as well. Just make sure it isn't in my way. Right, let me just show you this quickly because I don't think there's much battery left in this camera. I've literally just clamped this on. I've bolted the foot. Well, I've welded in. I put some extra welds in that as well after I had a look at it and thought, oh, I can get more welds in that. So that is well and truly welded in there, but it's bolted on now. So we know that's in the right place because that's where the other one came from. This lines up nicely, pulls in nice and tight as well, nice and square. I've popped a load of spot weld holes in so that I can spot weld that. I'm just going to weld this in across here so that I can put a clamp across that to pull that in even tighter, so we can get that in where it should be as well, where my hand is there. But it's coming together, it's looking right and it's looking square again. So I think I will tack that leg in because I'm going to call it a day now, and I'll come back to this fresh tomorrow. So after the camera died last night, I finished this one up. I spot welded it all the way up here and all the way down this side. This bit's just sitting there, and so's this bit. So literally only 2 more bits to go on this, and this side's done. So I'm going to put this on first, and this isn't too bad to do. It's going to be a case of spot welding the inside. So by the way guys, it fits perfectly, nothing has moved on this. That lower corner wants just straightening, but look how well those lines fit. It goes in absolutely spot on. So I'm going to weld this side first. So spot weld down here, get this side lined up, then I'm probably just going to weld the outer edge. I'm not going to bother spot welding that side because these are all going to have to be covered in seam sealant anyway. And then on the other side, I'm just going to get the grinder, clean this up, get that pulled up into there, and just tack it along there, and that's it, it's done. You saw how little weld there was holding it from the factory, so there's actually going to be a lot more weld holding that together now. So there you go, that's the box done, and then it just leaves us to do that. just having a quick look at this. What I think I'm going to do is actually just tack this in place from the outside, because I've rolled this over and I can put a load of pressure on it to get those square, because that is tucked in just slightly compared to there. So I'll get that sorted, and I need to push the other side. It's lined up at the bottom, but it needs pushing out at the top, so I want to tack one piece at a time and get this line square. So let me go get the welder out and we'll start tacking. I need 3 hands, guys. I'll use my knee. That's good. That looks like it's got it, actually. Welding a tip on. Good. Should have run the white wheel down there. That's got still got paint on it. There you go. That's pretty much in now. Just gonna weld the backside. Looks prettier than that. And should last a lot longer. So I've got to now replace this piece. So this box is all in. So literally, hang on. I've just cut these angles off the cover panels that have come because I'm not going to use those. I've cut that one down so that it goes in. So as you can see, I've got a piece to weld to there, piece to weld to there. That's got to be welded and ground in, and this piece is all shot. So take those two pieces of iron, cut this piece off, weld that on, and once the other bit's gone it'll be further forward. Weld it here to this, not too worried about that bit, and then weld all the way down the back, grind that out, and then I've got my corner to put that piece onto, and it all fits then, it all goes back together. And once we get that to line up, there we go, so it'll all fit something like that. So yeah, we're looking good on that one. I need to get these front corners lined up a bit better actually. Yeah, be a bit of fiddling with that one to get it to fit, but yeah, let's get those in first, then we'll worry about the front bit after. Got this piece in, all ground up, all welded in, so I've got something to weld this piece to. Now this top panel is probably the worst one. For fitting, it's basically crap. It fits where it touches and that's it. So I'm having to play with this one quite a lot to make it fit. But if we go around to the front, the line isn't too far off. It could do it coming down a little, well it will come down a little bit more. What I'm going to do is put the disc cutter through this so this drops in. It's not going to be overlapped, it's going to be a butt joint. So I'm going to put the disc cutter down here, across here, across there, so this is, and it'll lower this line. The only thing is that that hole's not going to line up properly. Those two line up, that one doesn't, so that's going to have a file in it to open the hole up. That's not the end of the world, it's only where the clip goes for the door, so not too worried about that. So I'll run the disc cutter around this and we'll have a look at it, how it fits once it's done as a butt joint. So that's all butt jointed up now, so that goes there, that goes there. That will pull in a bit tighter than that, so we're pretty close with that. Not overly enthused about how this panel fits, but it is what it is. That's better. If that goes in there, that's better. Yeah, so we've just got to, I'm going to have to tack it and pull it as it goes, but it lines up now with this line, so I'm happy with that. And I can weld this side in. Yeah, happy with that too. As well, going to have to be, because that's as good as it's going to get. I don't know whether I start welding at the top and then pull the bottom. Now I think welding at the top actually. Just got to put this corner piece in that's missing. I'm going to make that. It's going to take a few minutes, and clean the paint off here so I can weld this and then grind it back. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'll live with that. There we go. I put the new corner in. I've just got to fill down this side with weld, across there with weld, and grind that edge in. This is actually tacked on now, guys. The clamp is just holding the shape, but I don't think that is a million miles away. It's actually come out a little bit better than I thought it would. So I kind of happy with it now. It's come out much better than I thought. Right, I'll get that tacked on, get it welded on, and get it ground up, see what it looks like. There you go, all in, even down to the hinge for the vent panel. It's had a little bit of a problem now. That had to have a little bit more work in it, that piece did. But yeah, this is all pretty smooth. Once this has been dipped, acid dipped, galvid, then come back for paint, all the new seam sealant in, a coat of filler, it'll look awesome. So that's side one done. I'm going to do the other. Take my welding glasses off. There you go. I'm not going to film the other side, well, unless there's anything different, but it's going to be identical. So I'm going to crack on with that, then we'll come back and see what the whole thing looks like when it's done. Like I say, unless I find something miraculously different in the other side, which I don't think I will. But I'm pretty happy with that. I think Jem will be stoked about that. So back on with the welding glasses, start cutting. Wow, it's 2.5 hours since I turned the camera off and this side's done. So if you're not filming, you can actually do a complete side in like 3 hours. The hardest bit for this was actually building the frame to put it on, I think, and that other side. Let me get the camera, you can have a look at this side. There you go, all done. And this side, nowhere near as bad as the other. I've literally only had to put this piece in down here. So it's actually that could be knocked off a little bit more yet, but it won't matter. It's going for shot blasting, then it's going for galving, and then it's coming back for paint. So it's going to have to be filled, have seam sealant put on it and everything. Coat a skimmer filler on that, you'll never even know it's had the corner replaced. So the footwells will be the same. They'll have seam sealant run all the way up and round through all the joints where it's going to leak, and that bulkhead's going to live for many years. Now all the welding's done, all I've got to do, drop it back up at the farm. Let's have a look at it in the cold light of day. That does not look too bad. Right, let's get it loaded, let's get it gone. Right, I've dropped it off at the farm. Jim's just going to get the pickup, and he's going to get it loaded and take it to be shot blasted. So I'll probably see this back in a few days if there's any problems, and if not, it's done. And also, I'm just going to chuck a couple of photographs in here of Richard's picking the chassis up, because it's gone now. They took that yesterday, so that should be back in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Right. It's not as heavy as it was because of the amount of scrap metal I cut out of it.
Is it one going on the that side?
Yeah, I can do. Can't see where it's caught on. Hang on. Too late. I smell a diesel. It don't fit.
Yeah. You leave the back down or lift that up, lift it up onto it.
Yeah.
Like that.
It won't go anywhere, that. Nearly looks solid.
Very good.
Well, there you go. A complete bulkhead repair, both sides. What a job. It's been fun. But if you've enjoyed it, give me that thumbs up. Leave a comment below, and I'll see you on the next one.